Hey guys, what's up? It's Miriam. I'm just here to do an introductory video, basically describing who I am and how I got to where I am currently in my nursing career. I am a neonatal intensive care nurse. I graduated in May of 2019. It is December, so a new grad nurse. This was my very first job as a registered nurse. It is my dream job. It is the exact job that I wanted. Probably about, maybe once we got into women's health, and once we got to experience the NICU, once I actually learned a lot about it and kind of partook in the environment, I was sold. I knew once I had probably done maybe like 2 clinicals of med-surg, like 2 actual on the floor, hands-in clinicals in med-surg, I knew I did not want to do adult care. I didn't know much about the NICU then. I knew there was a unit where I knew peds, I knew pediatric care. And I always thought that I would be a pediatric nurse because I love kids. Like, I love kids. In any setting, I love children. Like, they're so cute and innocent and sweet, and how could you not love them? So I always thought that I would be a pediatric nurse. But we did peds, and I realized, like, you know that pediatric, like, as an adult, you know that pediatric patients go up to the age of 18. You know that, but you're not thinking of that. Like, I wasn't thinking of it in nursing school. I was thinking, if I'm a pediatric nurse, I deal with kids all day long. We're playing and smiling and da-da-da-da. No, not at all. That was not the case. We saw a lot of children who were ill, and it's very hard to make a connection with the children because, 1, they're sick. 2, you're a stranger, they don't know you, and they just want their parents. So it was very a lot more difficult for me, at least, to get the fulfillment that I wanted out of the job. And then another thing that I didn't like about it was, or I can't say didn't like about it, but another thing that I guess shocked me more than I expected was that we got a lot of 18-year-old patients, and to me, you're an adult, so they are almost as difficult, if not more difficult, than regular adult patients, because 16 to 18, they are teenagers. They got the attitude, they don't want to be bothered. Given there were some patients who were in the age range of 16 to 18 that were pleasant and a joy to be around, but for the most part, I ain't want to deal with them. So after we did pediatric nursing, we then went to the NICU, and we went to labor and delivery in NICU, and I fell in love in the NICU. I had a thought that I might be a labor and delivery nurse, and then I started seeing all the stuff that be happening. That ain't for me either. So I'm happy where I am. And so, just to give an overall story of how I got there, I did some time active duty, and then I went reserve, and when I crossed over to the reserves, I became an Air Force med tech. So once I did my training through the Air Force as a medical technician, I served some time, and then I got out. And once I got out, I realized that I needed a degree. Like, a long time ago, I went to school. I went to college and did not know what I wanted to do, so I kind of wasted time and never fulfilled my bachelor's degree. So in 2015, I realized, like, I was 25 then, and I was like, we need a degree, we need a job, and the best thing I could do was to go back to school. So my now fiance, I moved to the area that he's from, and he told me, he was like, well, you have medical experience in the area that we live in, Ohio now, and this area has a lot of great nursing schools. You should probably try to, like, you should consider going to nursing school. And I thought about it, and it sounded like a great idea because I actually did love my experience as a med tech. And then, you know, healthcare is going to be around for a while. People will always need healthcare. Our population is aging. We're living longer and longer. So healthcare will be around. Even if I don't remain a neonatal intensive care nurse for the rest of my career, I could get a job anywhere, basically. I moved up here and enrolled at my university. So it was not smooth sailing. I did not apply to school and automatically get into the nursing program. Like I said, the first attempt at college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. So obviously I was not putting forth the effort that I should have been in my classes. And so I had to spend some time to pull my GPA up and to get myself to a point where I could be accepted into nursing school. Which, hindsight, it kind of, not even kind of, it definitely worked out for me, because when I first came to my university, or when I first went to my university, they did not have the program that I ended up being in. I would have had to be in a traditional program, which would have taken about, probably, I think, like 6 months longer than the program that I was in. 6 months might not sound that long, but when you're ready to go ahead and start working and start getting some income, it is. And that's how I felt. So after I finished my prereqs and got my GPA up to where it needed to be, I ended up being accepted into an advanced track nursing program. So the program was basically designed for military personnel who had medical background, and for pre-licensed or I can't remember the exact name, but it was basically people who had like their LPN or ADN, or people who had other bachelor's degrees who wanted to then get a bachelor's in nursing. I have to research the actual like details of the program, and maybe in a later video describe it and see if I can find other programs like that. My nursing program took 1.5 years to complete, and it was challenging but definitely worth it. And like I said, I got into the program and we started getting, you know, deeper into it, and I realized that, you know, almost at first I was afraid that I had gotten myself into a situation that I would hate, because we had only seen adult care. And a lot of nursing programs, they teach predominantly adult care, and it makes sense because most people do not graduate and go into a specialty. A lot of people start in a med-surg unit. As a matter of fact, when we were graduating or getting ready to graduate, we had to find a preceptorship, which is basically an internship. We had some instructors who would tell us, you know, don't apply to these programs that are specialties. Do not go into, you know, a very specialized unit, because you want to get that foundation of nursing. You want to do, you know, a med-surg unit. And I get it. Like, oh, I get it. I was not upset with, but I knew what I wanted, and I did not want adult care. I wanted the NICU, and I knew that if I applied and I got it, that meant that it was for me, and that's what happened. What I would recommend for most new grads, if it's an option for you, is I would recommend residency programs. My school had like this, I cannot think of the exact name of it right now, but they had this residency program for new grads who would work for the hospital. So it was my, what year was it? It was the first semester of our senior year. We were doing, we were finishing up critical care, and so that semester we got, you know, information about, hey, next semester you're gonna do your internship, which we call preceptorship. You're gonna be doing your preceptorship. You need to give us these options as far as what units you're interested in working in, and what facilities and all of that. And then they let us know one facility had a residency program that you could apply for, and if you do well in the residency program, you could potentially be hired on as a nurse once you graduate. The the kicker to it was after you completed the residency and got accepted, it would be a 3-year contract that you would sign on with the facility. Contracts sometimes scare me, so when they said it was a 3-year contract, I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I want to do this. I don't know if I want to commit to 3 years. But that was the only facility that had NICU nursing available for new graduates. And I came home, I talked to my fiance, and I said, hey babe, you know, I know my heart's set on the NICU. I want to be a NICU nurse, and we just decided that was the best way to go. So we started our residency, let me see, it was the January, so it was the winter semester where we began our residency. So I went to my facility, and we had to do 204 hours, basically shadowing and working with a nurse. I loved my preceptor. She was the sweetest, very experienced, and she actually, not only did she work in the NICU, she worked in the transitional nursery. So I learned a lot as far as caring for well babies, and then also caring for NICU babies. So I completed my 204 hours, and at the end of it, you know, they call you and they say, hey, we got feedback from your preceptor and from the manager of the unit, and they are willing to hire you. We did the whole process of exchanging, you know, the paperwork and completing all of that, and at the end of it, I accepted the position and I got hired on. So I knew that I was going to have that job once I graduated in May. So one reason why I recommend residency programs is because, you know, we graduated in May and I already knew that I had a job waiting on me. I had some classmates who didn't. I had some classmates who, you know, had to start applying to several different, you know, facilities and all of this stuff because they did not do a residency program. So they weren't sure if they were going to be readily hired into a position. So that is a definite benefit of, you know, doing a residency program, is a guaranteed position as long as you do well and perform as you're supposed to. And then so after graduation, which was in May, like I said, I knew I had the job, so all I had to do was test and pass my NCLEX. I ended up, we graduated May 4th, May 4th, 2019. I cannot even remember how long it took to get our ATI. It seemed like it took forever. It probably was no more than like 2 weeks. You know, at that point, you're just so ready to get it over with. You want to like just start. And so once I got my ATI, I tested. I was gonna give myself time. I was gonna give myself a month, at least 4 to 6 weeks to study and like get myself together. I took so many classes to prep for NCLEX, but then I got to the point where I was just so tired. I was stressing myself out. I could not think. I couldn't study right because I was just so stressed. And I went to my fiance. I was like tears in my eyes, and I was like, I just changed my test date and it's gonna be like at the end of the week. And he was like, okay, like, you ready? And honestly, it was the best thing. I was so glad I went ahead and got it over with. I tested and I passed on my first try. Thank God, because Lord knows I probably would have been devastated had I had to take it again. Which I would have gotten over it. Things happen and people don't pass on the first try. So, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad nurse. It just means that I know sometimes, not even sometimes, I know test taking for me is very difficult. And you know, that just would have been something I would have had to work on and pass. But thankfully I did pass it the first time. And you know, after I passed the NCLEX, I just had to send over the paperwork to my my new facility, my new unit, let them know I was done, and then we just had to wait until the hire date. So our hire date started That's very hard to say altogether. Our hire date was in July. So from May, graduated in May, I was working July, the first week of July. I feel like it was God's timing. It was exactly what I needed. I got a bit of a break, but not too much to where I felt like I was thrown off my game, or I was still fresh. I was still ready, like, to learn. And you know, once becoming a new nurse, that's what a lot of it is. You have to keep that learning mindset, because you're getting into a brand new job, especially if you have no experience as an actual registered nurse like I didn't. You're going into a new position where it's gonna be topsy doggone turvy. And I mean, that's that's how it was for me. So I would definitely, you know, say if you have any questions about whether or not you want to specialize, research the specialty that you're interested in going in, and then seek those jobs. Seek if the facilities that you you know, that are in your area, seek whether or not they have residency programs, because those are, to me, the smoothest transition into getting a position, and you know, just basically having a concrete and sureness about a position as a new grad nurse. So yeah, just be prepared. Make sure you know that it's what you want. And I get it, it's probably hard to be so sure about something, especially as a new grad. I mean, hell, I still am scared sometimes, but just make sure you know that it's at least something that you feel called towards, or something that you will enjoy. One of the things I told myself when I was getting ready to apply for jobs was that I did not want to I did not want to sign up, or you know, apply to a job that I knew I would hate. I knew for a fact I tolerated our behavioral health, our psychiatric rotation. I tolerated it. I did it. I made it through. I hated it though. It's very interesting, you know, working there, but it's not something that I saw myself doing long term. Like I said, I was not sold on adult care. I can do it if I have to, but you know, if you have the opportunity to get your dream job, why not apply for it? I mean, that's only, why not try to get it? That just doesn't make sense to me. If you are going after your dream job, I just want, you know, to just make sure that you take the proper steps to get there. So do well in nursing school. Create good relationships with your instructors, because those people also have to put in a word. Our instructors had to submit paperwork supporting why they thought we would be a good fit in whatever position that we signed up for. Is that scary? Yes, because these are your instructors. These are people who see you day in and day out performing these nursing care tasks, and you just hope that you look as great to them as you feel that you should, if that makes, like, I knew how much effort I was putting into my clinical rotations. I knew how hard I tried to learn how to, you know, perform all the tasks. I knew how much work I put into our lab days, and you know, I tried to create good. So thankfully, with those connections, I was able to get good words put in for me, and you know, I got my dream job. So just make sure you create those good relationships. Seek the residency programs, apply for the residency programs, perform well in the residency programs, because when I'm telling you, when you are there, people are looking at you, they are watching you. I still, to this day, can go to work and people, some nurses are like, oh, I remember you were here in your senior year, right? I was, yep. Oh, I'm glad you're here. people remember you. They remember your work ethic, they remember your spirit, they remember your attitude, and so just keep that in mind. People are all like, perception is key. After you perform well and you get the call back that you are considered for a position, prepare yourself, one, to pass NCLEX, and then two, prepare yourself for the interview process. Submit a substantial resume, practice interview questions. My fiance and I sat in the living room and we would go back and forth. He would ask me questions, and I just wanted to prepare myself for the interview. I wanted to be the best version of myself that I could be. And then after you've done your preparation, you've applied your best, and it's just time for you to wait it out. Just pray and trust that what is for you is for you. And it was so many times that I was crying and just afraid that things wouldn't work out, but I had to trust and believe that my plan, what was actually supposed to happen in my life, would happen in my life. And here it is. I am now in my 6th month as a neonatal intensive care nurse, and I am over the moon happy. I enjoy it. I'm still learning. I am still sometimes afraid, but I go in every single day with an open mind, ready to work, and it has been a great experience for me. I will obviously leave the comment section open for whatever questions you guys may have. Until next time, I'll talk to you later.